本当？見えないでしょ？どこにいるのかな？見えないよ。What's good, Internet? It is Monday, January 13th, 2020, and you are listening to Waypoint Radio, episode 289. I'm your host, Austin Walker. Joining me today, Rob Zachney from Boston. What's good, Rob?
Oh, we finally have some good winter weather.
Not down fucking here. It was 70 in New York over the weekend.
Oh, it was 70 here over the weekend too.
Oh,
but
good.
like the cold blew in last night. Like
Okay.
you
Can
could
I
feel
have
it. Like
some of your
I had the
70?
windows all the way open because it was hot as hell in my
Yeah.
building. And then you just feel the wind shift,
Yeah.
and suddenly it was like Arctic air coming in, and it was great.
Oh, that's fantastic. It was like beach weather
Yeah.
this weekend. It was like weather where you'd be like, if it had been July, I'd be like, oh, this is nice. What a nice day for July. I just want it to be a little warmer. It shouldn't be like this.
No, it should not.
It's January.
I was
This is
not-
why we fight.
Throwing t-shirts. Fuck.
God, it's fucked up. Yeah, totally. Patrick Klepek also joining us from, I guess, cold Chicago.
No, it's cold. We got snow on the ground. I shoveled. So
So I kind of got cut off there, and he was like, I was throwing t-shirts. Now imagine
No.
Kato when the weather is too warm, is just out on the street with a t-shirt cannon, being like, I can't handle this. Boom.
Boom! Poof! Everybody wear a t-shirt! Poof!
Y'all like anime?
I got anime t-shirts! This
Here's one where
random-
Pikachu looks
Yeah.
like
Here's this
Naruto.
Destiny shirt I don't deserve.
Wow.
Wow.
And also, he wouldn't give that away. That
Whoa.
means a lot to him.
That has my fucking username on the sleeve.
See? Kato's here. Kato
that
has it.
doesn't make it better.
That's why he wouldn't give it
It
away,
makes
though.
it a lot worse. Hand that down to your
could
children.
we start selling Destiny? We've never had merch here, despite our best efforts. Could we start doing merch and it's just Kato's Destiny t-shirt?
Oh my god.
I would wear a Destiny t-shirt that had Kato's name. What's your screen name? What's your
It's
Destiny
just
name?
Kato-kun.
Kato-kun.
What's the legal doctrine that makes it not
Transformative.
theft?
Right.
Yeah,
Transformative?
It's a transformative.
Like, yeah, it's just a Destiny shirt, but with this username,
I would wear your Destiny shirt, Kato. I would do that, and I think it would be fun.
with his username?
Yeah, especially. Not
Right.
with mine. I'm a trash Destiny player. What I want is to go into a diner somewhere and someone give me a better seat because they think like, oh wow, you're Kato-kun, that good Destiny player. I saw you do that stream.
Only okay.
Listen, I've seen you do raids.
My raid time was only twice the length of the speed run.
That speedrun was cool.
That speed run was
Did you all watch
fast.
any AGDQ? Here's my three notes about AGDQ this week. One, I like that they brought on stuff that was not technically speedrunning stuff.
Yeah.
Or that was they broadened what they were the showcase aspect of the show.
Yeah.
This year, like one of the big ones last year was a race, like a blind race of Mario Maker levels. Patrick, you should go watch the Mario Maker 2 blind race. That was like a team
I've heard
relay.
I've heard the relay race is really good.
So
So good.
good. So that's great. They also did the Last Wish Destiny 2
Yeah.
raid speed run. That
Yeah.
was how long was it? It was like no time.
It was 30 minutes. The fastest I've ever done that raid is an hour.
and that was cool.
Yeah,
They-
and I was like, that was a fast fucking raid.
It was a
Holy
fast
shit.
fucking raid. It really
and
was.
then 30 was I don't even.
I really loved that they also did a clone hero, like Guitar Hero session,
Yeah.
where like you're not speedrunning that game, but you are showcasing
Right.
that game. So that was really cool. And then I want to say there were also like more ROM hack. Like, I mean, obviously there are ROM hacks every year to some degree.
Right.
But there were straight up like lots of randomizer things this year,
Yeah.
which was cool to see since that's become such a big thing inside of like the streaming community over the last year. And so that was really fun. And then the thing that I want to say like was one of my favorite bits is they played games. There were a couple of speed runs that really pushed the limits of the speedrunner. And there are times when that happened and it's like secondhand embarrassment because it's hard. Like not embarrassment like, oh, I can't believe they fucked this up. Embarrassment like, oh my God, this must be the most stressful thing in the world.
Yeah.
But there was a Sekiro speedrun where the person was supposed to get all of the beads and then just like didn't get all the money that he needed to get the rest of the beads and also just like hit some fights that just did not go his way. And I was like, well, if I lose the momentum, I lose the buff, I can't win this fight easily. And that made me as a player feel better Not because well, I fucking beat that fight, because obviously I beat that fight after leveling up a bunch and after 13 hours instead of after 90 minutes.
Right.
But it's like, I like it when the game exerts its will and it's like, no, motherfucker, you have to play the game. Like, it makes speedrunners look mortal. And the Super Metroid Impossible run that ended everything else was also very much in that space of like, wow, this is hard. Like, this was Super Metroid Impossible was originally conceived supposedly as a thing for a taskbot, as a tool. It was built for tool assisted speedruns, but that was built in 2006. So there have been 13 and a half years or whatever. To where now players can just run it, but it's hard. And that was fascinating to watch. And similarly was just like, wow, that made me feel good because like you're playing a video, like you got stuck on this boss. You had to fight this boss 5 times. You had to fight Ridley 5 times or 6 times before it was 5 times because the people on the couch wagered that said like, we will donate $100 per death during this run, and they got to that third or fourth death on that boss. They're like, oh shit, I thought you were gonna die like twice. I'm gonna need to dig deep. I gotta make rent soon. So that stuff was really cool. I had a pretty good time. I was really happy to see that certain runners used put up their pronouns in their like description or in their like their name. Basically, it was like a spot now for pronouns. Less excited about the like proto crypto fascist. It was more of like a crypto fascist someone who supports a crypto fascist political faction, I guess is what I should say.
Right.
Did an overnight run one night, and I was like, man, y'all have got to vet your shit just a little bit better. You've got to see, does this person support crypto fascism by shouting it out on Twitter a lot?
Well, if it's crypto, how do they know it?
How could they? How could they know? God.
So all you had to do was DM them and have an exchange for about 10 minutes like I did and go, nope, and just walk away.
God.
I love when dipshits think they're fucking Socrates.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Where it's like, well, what does the white race mean to you? What do you mean by that term?
As if they will lead you to,
Yeah.
Oh, so but I also feel like I feel like in my exchange, like, they kept trying to get me to share my opinion. I was like, no, like that's not what we're here for. I'm just, trying to. And then at the end, the concluding remark from this person was, no problem. Thanks for being willing to debate about. And I was like, fuck, did I fuck up?
You fucked up. You debated.
Did I debate?
You didn't. Like the problem is that the term debate is debased because they think it's like engage in a dialogue, a discussion, and it's like, yeah, I'm just like, I guess we did discuss this. I was trying to figure out what the fuck you mean. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, so good. All right. What else? That was my weekend. It was that while playing games that I don't think I played a single game that came out in the last 5 years. So that's good. Do y'all play anything worth talking about? Kato, you were excited last week about that Pokemon news.
Pokemon. I love Pokemon.
There was a deal. There was a
Pokemon's good again.
Is it?
I mean, I hope so. I don't know, but it seems like it's
there was
a
Nintendo Direct focus on Pokemon Sword Shield DLC. There's two DLC packs coming. Is that right?
Great, because I never bought those extra games.
Which extra games?
So every generation, there's the original 2 games, the 2 versions, and then another version that is like was a DLC essentially, but the price of a full game. So
is that like the Pokemon Yellow? That's like what started with Pokemon Yellow, right?
Yeah,
like
although Yellow had
that was just like a reskinning, right? That was just like, hey, start with Pikachu.
Well, the Pikachu would follow you around, and Pikachu had like moods.
That's DLC,
and like
that's Pikachu
they
armor.
Changed.
That's my nightmare, actually.
Yeah, Pikachu just follows you around.
But I just mean Pokemon Yellow was like that was back during the original Game Boy. But
like every generation since then, there's always been a third game, and some of them they did third and fourth games. But now
instead they're doing DLC, or at least you think instead.
Yeah, they might still. I don't know. They did compare them and say like, but this time you get to use your save.
Oh,
that's better than the old version. But it looks really neat. There's there's 2 coming. One of them seems they are both in like new areas that are apparently all 3D, which is nice. Like the wild area where you can
run around.
Yeah, instead of being like an isometric top-down RPG like the rest of the game is. So that's neat.
What's the deal with these expansions?
New area, new Pokemon, new story of some sort.
Are they gonna finish it this time?
Yeah, I mean they finished the other one. It's just
you were happy with it. We got lunch last week and you told me how that game ends. I was like, damn, that's seems like they kind of wrapped that up real quick.
Which is unfortunate because now they're definitely not gonna go back to that or address any of that probably.
Yeah, it seems like one of these is like a fighting dojo.
Yeah, you like find a fighting dojo, something happens.
Very Japan looking.
There's a bear that's like a kung fu bear called what was it? Cub Fu? Yeah, Cub Fu.
That's fake. That's some shit we would come up with. If you would put us in a room for 10 minutes, or like you have to come up with the name of a fighting type Pokemon.
That's a bear.
That's a bear. We would have said Cub Fu.
Yeah, and that's what they did, and it's good. It looks cute. It evolves into different styles, depending on which Pokemon game you have.
There's
like
okay.
Attack style, shield style.
Yeah, okay, I got you. That's kind of clever. One of them is fighting dark type.
Yeah.
And one of the I'm guessing the shield one is fighting water type.
That makes sense.
That's clever. Anyway.
They're adding in 200 Pokemon. So
old Pokemon.
Yes, Pokemon you've seen before. Also new forms of them as well. Some
that's
of them have
cool.
Galarian forms. Ultimately, I think we're like 100 off from every single Pokemon existing in this game again.
Are they not going to just do those 100 eventually?
I probably. I don't know. They're like so close. I feel like
had they not said they weren't going to do that explicitly?
Yeah, they said they weren't because of balance reasons, and I don't know if it was like that was just like what their excuse was during development.
Yeah,
and they knew they were going to do the DLC and add these Pokemon
or
in.
if they've since been like, we have to fucking do this.
Right, like people are
Poke fans.
Too mad.
We're listening. Yeah,
they haven't. They didn't message it that way at all. They're just like, and there'll be 200 returning faces in these regions.
God, what if it was just NPC trainers from past games?
Oh my god,
that would be sick. That would what blissful. Yeah,
the fucking what's extra funny I noticed during this fucking, to me at least, was that as they were when they were saying these words of like 200 new Pokemon, they were showing like the Pokemon models in Maya. Like,
wow,
we're making straight up.
We're
just
working on this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very funny. I will say, watching that trailer, the coolest thing for me was all the new fashion and hairstyles and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of
dope.
They look really great. I love the new Slowpoke.
Yes, why
it has gold on its head.
Why is it a Boris Johnson Slowpoke?
Fuck, I don't know. Apparently, the shiny makes it Homer Simpson.
It's like all yellow.
It's all yellow.
Okay,
yeah,
that's better.
It's good. It turns into when it evolves, it has like a little capelet. Looks like a weird vampire. It looks great.
And they also announced a remake of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the original Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yes. Which I never played.
It's cool. It shares heritage with Sheeran the Wanderer, which is or at least I think it does. I believe the Mystery Dungeon games are all, I'm pretty sure, were originally by Chunsoft, which there was a first one that I don't remember the name of, but the one that I jumped on, the one that got me into it was the Sheeran the Wanderer. I think it was probably Sheeran the Wanderer 2 that eventually got ported to DS, and that game is fantastic. And so I checked in on Pokemon Mystery Dungeon when it first came out, but I didn't like fall in love with it at the time. But now I'm like, I could fuck around with that. It looks gorgeous. It has such a cool look.
It's got a great illustrated style that they're going for. There's a button on the main menu that says appreciate artwork. Where you can get rid of the menu and just appreciate the backward illustrations because they're very nice.
That's nice.
I don't know what the game is like because I've played the intro 20 times at this point, where you do a personality quiz to figure out what Pokemon you are.
What Pokemon are you?
Undecided, because
but you've done
this personality quiz is bullshit. And it really wants me to be fucking Mudkip.
Oh, so you just didn't like
Mudkips. I fucking hate it.
Can we do the personality quiz? What's the personality quiz?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing too, is that it's random.
What do you mean it's random?
There are, and I've done this 20 times. There are different questions. I keep getting new questions that I haven't seen before.
Who's doing it? Who wants to be a Pokemon?
Who wants to be a Pokemon?
Rob, can we make you a Pokemon?
Rob, do you want to find out your true self as a Pokemon?
It's definitely Rob. It has to be Rob.
Let's find out what Rob is.
Let's do it. Let's go. All
right.
Pull it up.
Welcome.
He's going to be the most irritated by it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Before I can let you through to the portal to the world of Pokemon, I have several questions for you. I want you to answer them sincerely.
Hey, Kato, you should be proud of being a Mudkip.
Fucking, I got first I got Skitty,
Look at
which
those
was also
that
bad.
Mudkip is rocking. Oh, hell yeah.
And then I got Bulbasaur. I was like, this feels right.
Bulbasaur is nice. You could be a
Bulbasaur is
Bulbasaur.
great. Yeah. But at that point, I was like, I'm curious. What happens? Why did it change? I answered mostly the same. I got some new questions. I wonder how many new questions there are. I redid it.
New questions again.
Fucking Mudkip. New questions.
Wow,
Eevee,
Mudkip again.
Machop, Mudkip. Fucking.
How many times have you done this quiz?
Like 20. I told you.
Do it one more time.
Eevee,
that's it. We're doing Rob. Who is asking
Eevee,
Rob these questions? I'm imagining.
Mudkip.
I'm imagining the room from the beginning of Blade Runner.
No.
Where Holden.
It's a white
Holden
orb.
is sitting across the table. It's a white orb. That's not Agent Holden.
It's talking to you. This is who you're responding to, Rob. I'm holding up.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're floating in the ether here, in the void.
I'm basically talking to a particle effect. Got it.
It says, make sure to answer these sincerely, okay? All right.
No irony here, all right? We left irony in 2019. We're sincere now.
Let the interview begin.
The new sincerity.
Here we go. It's loading.
Great. They have to load these questions.
The new sincerity is a thought cabinet.
Do others often call you childish? Yes or no?
No.
Absolutely.
Can we actually answer? Austin, can we answer these for Rob?
Yeah,
instead?
whatever. Yes.
Rob, you're taken out. You're done. Mr. Bisky, you can go hang out over there. All right, so Kato, give us the question again. Or I guess did you already answer?
Yeah, I already answered.
Which was no. No one called
And it is a
Rob
no.
childish.
I agree with that.
Your friend fails to show up for a meeting at the promised time. What do you do?
Boy, he would be so fucking irritated. What are our options?
Become irritated.
Yes.
Wait patiently. Get angry and bail.
I think it's get irritated. Rob wouldn't bail.
Yeah, it's definitely get
He would have to be
he would wait though.
He would. Yeah, he would wait.
He would wait, but the waiting
Rob
is implying
leaned
that like
all the way away from his mic.
Yeah.
he's irritated that we're talking about him being irritated.
Because it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's irritated. Ding.
Okay. All right, next.
He nodded.
A friend brought over something you'd forgotten. How do you thank your friend? Say thank you regularly. Say thanks with a joke. Say thanks, but be cool.
Bake something with the option D.
Say thanks regularly.
Say those again?
Say thanks regularly.
Say thanks with a joke.
With a joke.
Say thanks, but be cool.
I think with a
joke? It's either joke or be cool, but I don't know really what they mean.
Think regularly seems like you're just
overdoing
downplaying. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Almost like
Rob
thanks again for the chord or whatever.
Yeah. Because Robert responded like with a gesture, so maybe cool is more.
That's what I think. Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey man, thanks.
Right, cool.
Here is a bottle of something to drink. You want me to get you a beer? Oh
Yeah.
man, thanks.
Yes.
I needed that power cord. I'm gonna go get a beer. Would you like a beer? Thanks, but be cool.
All right. Say thanks, but be cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever made a pitfall trap? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. He's going to talk to us about a Three Kingdoms game in like 20 minutes. And he's going, oh, wow, there's pitfall traps now.
Yeah, when you said pitfall trap, and there's no signifier that has to be like a physical object in the real world. Like, Rob has made all sorts of pitfall
rhetorical
traps.
ones, like everything. Rob is saying no, but he absolutely has. This is a pitfall trap. He's trying to trick us.
It's the summer festival. Do you like carnivals? Love them. Don't care.
Oh, he loves them. He loves the summer carnival.
This is the thing is,
I guess he loves a winter carnival.
We have to talk about what a summer carnival is here, because the word festival. Say, read the question again.
It's the summer festival.
The summer festival.
Do you like carnivals? Is this a trick question?
I want to say that this is a weird translation.
Yeah.
Because I think in the Japanese, what we're talking about here is exactly what Rob would like, which is you're walking through like a bunch of awesome, like a marketplace where there's little stands that are all cooking really great food.
Yeah.
There's traditions at work here. There's some sort of local historical custom.
Right.
Oh, wow, like there's a shrine to a local spirit, and you can learn the history of this local town. Like stuff that Rob would eat up. But for the translation, they've been like, do you like carnivals?
Yeah, right.
What do you fucking think about raw sugar? Just drink it. You like that shit? And the answer is maybe still yes. Maybe that's still a good time.
What do you think about sideshows?
Is that a different? Oh yeah. Like, is that the next question?
No.
So I think Patrick, we say yes.
I think we have to. I think we have to go with yes because I think we could fit even Pokemon's definition to work, even if it's not the one that we would go for. Rob's
yeah.
All right.
But I say we go more yes than no.
More yes than no.
Love them. Do you sometimes run out of things to do all of a sudden?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Rob's got a list, and he just moves on to the next thing on that list. That list doesn't end. He just when the list is over, he makes a new list. Look,
he held up his list. He held up his list.
Oh
if the list
God.
ends, that's just you fucked up because you should have another list.
The last thing on the list is add more to the list. He's checked something off his list.
A foreign person has started up a conversation with you. To be honest, a foreign person.
A foreign person.
So what do they mean? What do they mean by that?
Someone. To be honest, you don't have a clue what this fellow is saying. How do you reply?
Okay.
So someone who doesn't speak your language is trying to talk to you. The three
the
options
phrasing of that question is
Boris
a little.
Johnson is in this game.
Strange.
What the fuck?
Haha, yes, very funny. Could you say that again? Right. Well, I gotta go.
Right. So, can you say that again? It has to be.
Give us our.
Wait. So my three options are to fuck this up, like
yeah, 100%. 100%.
You don't know what this person
again?
is saying. You don't know what this person. The first one is haha, yes, very funny. Could you say that
never
again?
Do that. Could you
say that again?
Right. Well, I gotta go. Right.
No,
because
he would try and hear it. He would try and hear the work out the phonetics, and then he would like be looking it up on Google Translate or something.
Okay. All right.
He would not be so dismissive, and yeah, absolutely.
There is a scream from behind a door. How will you react? Yank open the door. Scream in unison.
He would scream. Rob wants to say that he would open the door, but he would scream.
This scenario, I want video of this.
Can we please, I'm going to put a request into the world if someone could draw a version of that question with both options.
There's only two options.
Yeah, that's it.
Open the door.
Open the door to investigate or begin screaming.
Or begin screaming in unison. Not back, not because you're scared, in unison.
Yeah, together with.
This is
Also
tough.
afraid.
I don't know about this one.
Oh my God.
Can we phone a friend? Can this be one we ask someone else?
Can we ask Rob?
I was asked Kato, but we could ask Rob, I guess. Rob, would you scream back or would you open the door?
I mean, the most likely outcome here is that I open the door and begin screaming. I'm going to be startled. I'm not sure I'm going to start screaming, but I might regret opening that door to investigate. I might also feign like I didn't hear shit.
This is a secret third option that should be on here.
I don't find anything compelling about that door. Let's just walk away.
Yeah.
Could you say that again?
I'm sorry, I have to go.
God.
I'd probably start screaming in unison.
Okay.
Between those two options, like throw that door open or like be like, rah! Orson Welles in the champagne commercial. Yeah.
Do you want to play as a boy or a girl?
Who cares?
Yeah.
That's not an option, right?
No, you can play whoever you want.
No, I know, but I'm just. This is just a character
I have to
creation
choose.
choice.
Yeah. Huh?
Okay. Interesting. You guys can answer for me.
I'm trying to think of characters that Rob has made.
Right.
I really don't.
He doesn't play a lot of games with character creation.
Right.
It's like.
Which maybe means he would like Rob is a cis dude. I believe, as far as I know, Rob is nodding, and I wasn't gonna. I'm sorry if I was gonna out you there. That's not what my intention was. And if that had happened, we would have cut it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I believe Rob is a cis dude, and I think he would be like, you know what? Let me play as a woman. I play lots of games as like bald-headed straight dudes because that's what video games gives me. Let me play as a cool lady in Pokemon UK.
That's always been my approach to like. That's why how I end up choosing. So
Yeah.
I see the logic there.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's at least when we can make an argument for.
I said
out
Pokemon
of-
UK, but that's not what this game is.
No,
This is
no.
a different thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay,
yes,
here we
yeah,
go.
that works.
Results.
I'm excited.
You appear to be the hardy type.
Yeah, true. Hardy, like H-E-A-R-D.
H-A-R-D-Y.
Oh,
yes.
Hardy. Wait, what? H-A-R-D-Y.
Yeah.
Austin was like, no, the gregarious type Pokemon.
What?
Wait. Okay.
No, the
Hardy.
cool,
Okay,
the
okay.
cool can hang.
I thought it was going to be hearty. Like vigorous. Like,
Isn't that the same?
that's spelled different.
Aren't those
no,
synonyms?
hardy with a D means like
I guess they're similar.
difficult to eradicate or kill. Like it's
Right.
survivable.
Yes, like
durable.
a roach
Hearty
is heart.
means like, Austin, well met, brother.
Yeah, Rob.
Right.
And then we
That's-
grip forearms.
and then we grip
and then
forearms.
we're like, shall we quaff some ale?
Yes. Yeah, Rob. Anyway, Hardy is still
Hardy.
true.
It's, the descriptions here. You do your homework diligently. This is a game for kids. You know to eat properly.
Yeah.
You have strong willpower that lets you complete tasks,
Yeah.
however tough.
Yeah, all that's true.
But you can also be stubborn to the point of even feuding with friends.
Yes.
Nothing will go
accurate.
right for you when you're irritated, so learn to laugh it off.
Yeah.
A hardy,
Fuck
yeah, with
you.
the H-A-R-D-Y.
You don't know me.
A hardy person
Game?
like you should be.
Almost spit my coffee.
Here
Very
we
close.
go. Pikachu.
Pikachu.
The Pokemon
What?
Pikachu.
Pikachu. Pikachu.
Pokemon
Pikachu.
Pikachu.
Pikachu. Hold it up to the camera.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, that guy is the detective.
He is a detective.
That's true. But this is not Detective Pikachu.
No, it's just a Pikachu with a heart tail.
All right, Kato's right. This program is bullshit.
Man, not even a Raichu, not even a
Nah.
Snorlax.
What are
Where
the options? That doesn't even make sense
do you
for
mean?
hardy.
No, I think that's
No, that isn't right.
Pikachu's a meek little.
Not
Okay,
meek,
well,
but
meek's-
fast, agile.
Yeah.
fast. Yeah.
We've got
quick.
Cyndaquil,
Quick attack
Mudkip.
is like one of the big
Yeah.
starting attacks.
We got. See, I feel like Cubone is hardy.
Cubone is hardy.
So
Yeah.
here's a theory.
Yeah.
They took an existing personality quiz from somewhere. Yeah. They threw it into their game.
Yeah.
But they didn't actually put much effort into like connecting the Pokemon available to the quiz.
Probably, I guess. I feel like maybe it has something to do with Pokemon nature. Like that's a nature. That's a nature
Is
in
it this a
Pokemon.
Pikachu we hardly knew you situation? Like is this
Right.
Could be.
people think Pikachu's one way because like, oh, he's so cute.
You know
But,
what?
Like, maybe he
Ash's
ain't.
Pikachu is getting fucked up constantly. Right?
Sorry, I just had to imagine, Rob, you made me think of Pikachu delivering the Marlo Stanfield line. You want it to be one way, but it's the other way.
That's how that movie should have
That's how that
ended.
movie ends. Yeah, 100%.
All the Pokemon are standing around there looking sad, and like Pikachu finally just like crackles lightly with lightning and launches into that speech, and then just walks away.
For what it's worth, Pikachu really wants you to know that his name is his name. That's why he's always saying it. All right. This is someone recently, a friend of mine.
Mewtwo's got a lot of bodies on him.
Putting bodies in the abandoned houses. Someone recently was like, my friend M was opining that not enough people remember The Wire, and people should go watch The Wire. The Wire's great. Anyway, that's the character we were just referencing. That was not just a non sequitur. I wasn't just like, by the way, The Wire. Anyway, so Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, that's out soon, right?
I don't think they said.
Did they not? What am
don't
I
think
thinking
so.
of it being soon then?
The demo came out.
Yeah,
it was
but
like
I thought they
announced
were
that.
like the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon remake.
Oh, you know what?
is
March
That's
is
what I'm saying.
my brain's like, oh, wait a second.
March 6th.
Yeah,
that's out.
that is soon.
That's soon.
That's soon.
Any other news we want to talk about before we talk about games that we played?
actually play.
Yeah. Well, one, I just want to. Someone proposed a premise for this new Batman game that actually got me excited.
Is that confirmed at this point that it's another Batman game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely know it's a Batman game. And it's coming from WB Montreal.
Oh, right. This is not the
doing,
Rocksteady game.
No, okay. Rocksteady's game. Who knows? Maybe that'll get announced next month at the PS5 event that's happening. But
so like of a Full Metal Alchemist game.
What?
I'll show you this. It will make sense.
No one's making you a Full Metal. Rocksteady is not making a Full Metal Alchemist game.
I'll show you.
Okay.
Continue,
are you saying that to society?
I think so. I'll show you. Like a Batman villain.
Yeah.
So wait, what is the Batman premise?
They've been slowly teasing this. I'm going to link this into our podcast chat. Like they've been teasing this game long enough that it like New York Comic Con. Oh wait, click that and then you'll get the thread. I like built an article in our CMS for like a Batman game, like built out. I was like, cool, they're gonna announce this tomorrow. Like, we'll just publish this when it goes live. And like, I've been sitting there for 6 months. And they've been slowly teasing out this image. And this image is like all these circles. And there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 circles around that appear to be factions. And there's 4 circles in the middle.
It's a potentially 8 circle.
This is why you think it's a Full Metal Alchemist game. I see.
Absolutely.
And so potentially maybe that's 8 enemy factions, but it's probably 6 enemy factions and then 4. And it's like Mike Williams over at US Gamer proposed like his interpretation of what this could be. This isn't like inside knowledge, but he said, so we pretty much all agree this is going to be a Batman game with factions and a nemesis, right? I wonder if the 4 middle circles will be playable characters, and the notion that you could have like 4 different members of like the Bat family who have different like nemesises happening over the course of like 6, like, because for some reason like Warner Brothers does not really evolve that much on the nemesis system, even though it makes total sense for like a faction gang based Batman game. And the idea that you could be playing like 4 different Bat characters in which you have different sort of villains and like enemies spread across like pollinated between 6 different like totally different factions sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I just hope that's actually the game that they're making, because I was not interested in playing another. I know Kevin Conroy said he's not doing the voice in whatever this game is, but like I was not interested in just another Batman game with like another gallery of villains and like some other part where we're running around some other part of Gotham City. But like that is like fundamentally like interesting. That could be super cool. So I just want to shout that out.
That would be. I mean, that's been the thing that we've been saying for years, that like people who tweet about video games have been tweeting for years they should put the Nemesis system in a Batman game. It'd be cool. There'd be villains. It'd be cool. The 2 logos that they've revealed so far are like
GCB and Joker.
Is that what you're reading that as? I definitely see. Yeah. Do you think that that's the Gotham?
I don't know. The diamonds evokes cards, but that could be Al Ghul, maybe.
I guess. You think the other one though is the police department because of like the eagle and the badge? Is that what you said?
I mean, it's pretty monarchist though.
It is. There's a crown, which is weird.
But Gotham is kind of like that. Gotham's a weird place.
Yeah. They're not.
Also, one of the early rumors that it was going to be a Court of Owls game. So maybe it won't be called Court of Owls, but the notion of a long-standing like underground dynasty that has his hands in a billion different parts of Gotham City.
Well, it would be easy to see that.
Perfect for really forcing tie-ins to other characters too.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, of course.
It also would be easy to see them being one of these 6 circles or whatever.
Okay, so here's the thing. Just if you're doing factions, just make No Man's Land. Just fucking do that story arc. It lends itself perfect to a video game. Literally, the first book of No Man's Land has a map of Gotham City and the territory the factions have carved out for themselves, and the map changes as the gang wars continue.
That would be
it's a fucking video game. It's what Arkham City should have been, but they couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, like especially the dream version of this is that it's systems driven, that there are actually conflicts over territory happening between the factions, and that you're like pushing them in different directions. That could be fun.
Right. And the Nemesis system would dovetail really nicely there, because one of the things that happens throughout like a lot of Batman arcs, the stakes continue to escalate as it goes on. But like in No Man's Land, when the different members of the Bat family start allying, lining up against some of the villains, they start experiencing some really swift success as they begin breaking the villains' hold on parts of the city. But like the villains begin figuring some shit out pretty quick, and they begin identifying weak points pretty fast. And it leads to some pretty surprising twists and some pretty great battles. Huntress's stand outside a hospital in Gotham is probably one of my favorite Batman comic moments.
There's another image that has even more. People have added additional icons that had been teased to this map, and some of them look similar enough to each other that I'm like, wait, is this actually? What is that? Maybe these don't belong here.
Both those pieces of fire just look like maybe two different versions of the same clip art.
Yeah. Or like you're leveling up down that path, or like that's like a skill tree getting increased. You know what I mean? Who knows? But we'll see.
So
we'll see.
Man, somebody involved in the marketing for this game like saw Wicked and the Divine and just lost their fucking mind.
Yeah, totally. God.
So with the four Batman, so what? Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and
Huntress.
I think this would be Huntress would be a big if you're doing the No Man's Land story, you do Huntress.
Do the complete incoherence of the Bat family. You got the Bat. You got Batwoman.
Yeah.
You got Batgirl. You got Batman. You got Nightwing. You got an assortment of Robins.
Just a bunch of Robins.
Every Robin.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Robins out there. So
you got Damian, you got Tim, but is Tim
like which Tim
out there murdering people as an assassin?
Red Robin,
or is he still like a Robin? Is he good now? Yeah, who knows?
Well, but that theoretically they're not going to abandon, even though this is Rocksteady. Like Arkham Origins was still within that timeline. It was just a prequel. So this would probably take place after the trilogy and like pick it up from there, which is why Kevin Conroy wouldn't be in it because, spoilers, Batman wouldn't be in it. And
right,
I forget where they leave the I don't know, I forget what the legacy characters are in like the mainline like Bat.
How did I never got around to beating Arkham Knight. Does that leave? Does someone like pick up the cowl at the end and like I'll carry on?
What's the last one? Arkham
Knight, right?
Knight? Yeah, Arkham Knight.
Spoilers for that game, I guess.
Apparently we're in it. Add it to the description at least.
Yeah.
Let's see. To save Robin and Gordon, Batman surrenders to Scarecrow. Scarecrow reveals Bruce Wayne to the world, yada, yada, yada. After Batman ensures that Gotham is safe, Gordon dispatches the police to reclaim the streets, and Batman activates the Nightfall Protocol to protect his loved ones. Surrounded by reporters, Batman returns to Wayne Manor, where he's greeted by Alfred. As the pair enter the manor, it explodes, seemingly killing them both. Sometimes later, Gordon, now mayor of Gotham, prepares to attend Oracle and Robin's wedding. Elsewhere, two muggers attack a family in the alley, but are confronted by a nightmarish figure resembling Batman. So it's like...
People suggest that Batman may not be dead, but has transformed into a different version of Batman.
Man-Bat?
I don't know. Or Bruce Wayne is dead and there's a new Batman. Yeah.
I bet he's just like steps back as just like a, like a kind of overseeing thing.
Supernumerary, like emeritus role.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. I just like to advise.
Oh, Batman Beyond.
Oh, if they did a Batman Beyond game, that would fucking slap. Terry McGinnis, what's good?
Yeah. They just turn him into a quest giver.
Yeah, basically. I'd be curious to see what that game is. We'll see. You think next month
idea
at that
is
event?
At least. I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like everything's being saved for. Well, I don't know. So there's apparently going to be a Ps5 event announced pretty soon. That machine will get unveiled properly in February. And I saw Jason Schreier out here tweeting this morning that. Not saying that like E3 is dead, but that it sounds like increasingly Sony might not attend E3, which just makes for a really weird,
wild
year. I mean, then again, what does that mean? Does it mean that they announce a big their own thing that is like still E3 week. But I would like them to announce that sooner rather than later so we can figure out our budget for the year because
That'd be great.
Like if suddenly we weren't going to E3, but are you going to E3 because Microsoft is there? So you then send I don't know. So
is Microsoft confirmed to be doing an event during E3 week this year?
They've done it in the past. I think they're okay. Like if Sony said no to E3, E3 would still exist. And in some ways, it just becomes a de facto Microsoft event,
right?
And I think they would see a benefit. I think it's win-win for each side. I think Sony doing its
get out of their
thing,
way, yeah,
and like having their own attention helps them. I think Microsoft owning E3 for whatever it is and just turning it into their version of an Xbox event is also like good for them. So I don't think it like hurts anyone except for E3 probably, but fuck them anyway.
I'll be honest, it makes it harder for. I mean, we knew Sony did an event last E3, but they were not on the show floor, right? Am I misremembering that? Or Microsoft?
No, they just weren't.
They
E3
fully
last
were not
year.
there. Yeah, totally. Okay,
Yeah. Which made sense because they had almost nothing to show except for a couple of games.
Dude, E3 was rough this past year.
Yeah.
Oh man, we'll see. They're the new E3 plan that came out of Nintendo's there.
They'll be there.
They'll be there.
And there'll be lots of third-party next-gen stuff. So like there will be enough to make it an event. But there will increasingly
there will be games that you can buy on PS5 there. Whether or not they're running on PS5 kit, probably not. But
or at a Sony booth.
Certainly not at a Sony booth, right? If they're not there.
EA's not going to come back. EA's got their own thing at this point.
Do you think that stays as part of E3 week? Probably. That needs to be attached to something like that.
Right.
And I bet my guess is Sony's, I wouldn't be shocked if they stayed within that orbit and just wanted to have their own space to do
if you're
stuff.
Sony, do you go the week before or the week after?
Before.
Probably before.
You don't want to react? Do you want to be reacted to?
I will say historically they've gone last. That has been their position in the past is you can wait for us. And Microsoft's position has always been we're ready to go.
Let's go end this conversation as soon as possible. Yeah, totally.
Which is interesting given the little bit of news that came out late last week was that like Microsoft has explicitly said for some undetermined amount of time, but I would say let's say 2 years. I feel like that's maybe the determined amount of time is probably dependent on how sales go.
Yeah.
Like it's probably not even internally figured out where this line will get crossed. But essentially for a decent amount of time, all the games that come out don't come out for Xbox Series X. There's nothing exclusive to Series X. There will be games that just come out for Xbox, and that presumably includes everything from the base level Xbox One to an Xbox Series X. For at least let's say first 2 years, it'll come out or at least play on everything. What that means is probably like Lord knows, like games like are pretty rough on the original Xbox as it is. And I don't know if they're gonna. I doubt they make that, or I'll be curious if they make that like a third-party requirement, or if that'll just be up to third parties. But Sony hasn't said specifically, but Jason Schreier, and I've heard this as well, is that there are just going to be straight up, surprise like PS5 only games because Sony is going in a direction which is consistent with their past, which is they want to they use software to sell hardware. And Microsoft is moving in a direction where they are increasingly interested in being hardware agnostic.
Yeah.
And
service-based. Bring people into the
it's like
ecosystem.
At some point, if they can, you want to run our Xbox games on an Apple TV that has an Xbox or even a PlayStation controller connected to it, like, cool.
Yeah,
you still
why
gave
not?
us your $60.
Right.
And those are just different models that I think actually can both be really successful. Like, I don't think like one existing without the other. I think it may actually just be more that Microsoft as a company that fits the future of them as a company like writ large, and that's just not Sony. But I still think it's interesting, the idea that you could hold on to a box and wait till it dies, or you see how the pitch of the hardware is compelling enough that you want to do it. Like I sort of get it. Like I don't play on 4K. Like I'm gonna buy it because that's my job. But like if you're just playing 1080p and like you have an Xbox One X, you might be able to get through that first wave of games and it's fine. Yeah. Totally. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we can talk about the stuff we played recently and see if there's anything else going on. BRB.
We are back. Did anyone play anything more current than my list of games, which, let me just double check it here, is Star Wars The Old Republic, Final Fantasy XII, and Final Fantasy XIV? No? No one else? No? Just someone.
I mean, I'm so current. I'm embargoed.
Can Rob talk around an NDA?
Probably. Rob?
Yeah.
I heard you've been playing some Three
Total
Kingdoms.
War Three Kingdoms is great. I mean, we already knew it was great.
Yeah.
It was in your top 10 list. We talked about it at the end of the year. Still great.
No, so I've been playing a bit of the Mandate of Heaven expansion, which is going basically moves up the starting date to the very beginnings of the Yellow Turban Revolt. And so sort of the cool thing is it at once has its own vibe for that first phase of the campaign, but apparently the playthrough will let you continue on into the Three Kingdoms
right. So
period.
So this is literally the end of the Han dynasty, that Han dynasty. The pre-rise of the Yellow Turban rebellion,
so it's actually kind of cool, and we're beginning to what I will say is if you've read the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, there's kind of two things that are happening concurrently, and they're not actually driving one another. One is that sort of Han misrule has allowed a lot of the countryside to fall into various forms of disorder, right? Yeah. There's a lot of bad governors who are not responsibly handling anything. There is an increasingly disenfranchised and enraged peasantry in various parts of China. And the Han Empire has basically lost conviction in itself, right? Increasing number of Han nobles and governors are looking at the state of things, and they're like, this thing's coming down, right? And some aren't. Some still think this thing can be turned around or salvaged, or the things are basically hunky-dory. But there's an increasing number of nobles who are beginning to form relationships independent of the of the emperorship, basically, of the dynasty. And concurrently with that, you have the rise of a group of a cult or band of religious fanatics or mass movement, depending how you want to characterize it, that is beginning to sweep the countryside. And so this campaign sort of tries to bring that out, and it introduces some new campaign dynamics to try to get at that story. I don't want to get too far into it, because at that point we are starting to move into things that are not publicly available. Yeah, so I can't go too far. But I will say my playthrough had to be aborted because a quirk of the Total War series, and this has been like this for ages, but if you think about it, this makes perfect sense. The game changes depending on your hardware.
Sure.
If you want bigger armies with more units and more individual actors on the screen, it probably helps if your PC can handle modeling those bigger armies and all those individual soldiers and all the shit that's going to be happening on the screen.
Yeah.
When I installed this update, I didn't check to see if any settings had been changed. So I just launched into the game, and because the campaign the whole structure of this thing is things start kind of calm, but they begin to ramp up as things go sideways. It took me a bit to realize that there were some weird quirks to this campaign. I open up one of my armies, and one of my cavalry units only has 7 dudes in it. And I'm like, wow, this must be an epic band of heroes. Boy, things are different in this expansion. 7 cavalrymen. Man, these late Han cavalry, each one must have the might of 10 warriors. Each one is like a little Lu Bu. And then I was like, what about this band of peasant spearmen? 40, huh? 40 dudes. And I realized that like basically the biggest army I can amass is going to look like those 1980s BBC historical dramas where it's like the same dozen extras being like run around in front of the camera. It like shot from like a medium shot. It's like clearly someone's lawn, and it's like we're here at the Battle of Waterloo, and
forward, men, and then around behind the camera and back around, so that we can simulate there being more of you.
Yeah. And so that was kind of a campaign that was taking shape. And so I had to bail out because I'll be damned if I fight. Like, I'm not fighting the Three Kingdoms on like 80s BBC budget.
Right, the point.
Like, no. We're going the prestige level. We're going straight to
the three duchies.
We're going straight to like current HBO. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean,
money, the peak TV money.
Yeah. I will say though, Austin, did you get a code for this?
I only got email back like 2 days ago, so maybe it bounced off my email.
Okay.
And vice.
Have you seriously still not put much time into this at all?
I put like 6 hours into it when it came out, but that's not real time in a total war
I think
game.
This might be the one that gets you in.
This is also the time of the year where I could do that. Do you know what I mean? Where I don't feel like I'm buried under other stuff. So yes, I will definitely add to the list.
As someone who's been reading the Three Kingdoms and like been getting into it, I'm like, this is that early stuff that we're getting to. I remember this guy. He ate shit really early in the book, but here he's fine.
Wait, why was he fine in the game? Oh, because you made him
dead
fine.
yet.
Because he
hadn't fucked up yet.
I see.
He hadn't been like, I'm marked by destiny. Peace out, y'all.
God, I think it just hit at a bad time last year, both in terms of where my schedule was, and also where my interest was in that style of game, because the Total War specific style of strategy game requires a certain degree of investment in like wanting to win and not just tinker. Do you know what I mean? And I was very much when I was playing strategy games last year, I was like, let me just tinker around. Let me just fuck around a little bit. Let me just see what's happening here. And you can do that in Total War games, but I think to get the juice out of them, you got to want to play to fucking win. And I was not playing to win in mid 2019 is what I will say. I really want to shout out a podcast that I've listened to by some friends of the show, Romance of the Two Networks, which is produced by Scanline Media and Abnormal Mapping. They are doing a read through of the book of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and like a podcast about their read through. It's really fun. Romance of the Two Networks. Shout out. What else? Anything else, Rob? You playing anything else besides Three Kingdoms right now? Patrick, Kato?
Not really.
Y'all got anything? Really got to talk to me? We talk about JRPGs?
I went to the Goodwill.
Yeah.
To drop off a bunch of clothes.
Sure.
And then we went through normally to try and. My daughter's still young enough that those are just toys. You don't need new ones. Those are just fine, Jessica.
Let me tell you something about Goodwill. You can keep going there after your daughter becomes a 13-year-old.
Aware? Yes.
Yeah, I felt. Listen, that Goodwill did me good.
Look, you can go wild, whatever you want.
Yeah, that shit is pretty cheap.
We can afford.
I bought books at Goodwill. I bought video games at Goodwill. I bought clothes at Goodwill. Like for real.
It's not really a place to buy games anymore. That's
really?
At least my when I always check over there.
Yeah, of course.
Just to see. Like I'm just curious. Like what ends up here? Well, one I will tell you, Wii Fit balance boards end up at the Goodwill a lot. There was a stack of 7 of them in a corner somewhere. But the actual game selection seemed pretty dire. Anyway, while I was looking for some stuff for her, one, it's been my dream to I want a golden tea machine in my house at some point, but those are difficult to track down because one, the modern ones are very expensive because they actually come attached with a high-end television set, and so they're just absurdly overpriced. Then the older ones are heavy and just out of circulation, so they're harder to find. So I haven't really found the one I want yet. But they sold a golden tea home edition, which was listed for $200 on Amazon, which doesn't make any sense. I think I must have just gotten an out of print sort of thing because it comes with AV cables, just a yellow and a white, which is I cannot plug into anything in my house.
Of course,
but I guess you can.
Yeah.
but you can plug it into like one of the component slots and it'll display, but it doesn't display correctly.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I guess I think you can get like converter kits like to make it work, but I think I will get it because it doesn't. For you haven't played Golden Tee, it's like your traditional golf game. It's got the little ball that you roll back and forth to do your swings. And this one, it doesn't roll back; it only rolls forward. So you can play it, but you get no pull on the swing. You have to only just push it forward.
Is this a cabinet? What is this? What is the Golden Tee Home
It's
Edition?
just it's the equivalent of.
Oh, I see. It's just the ball and
it's just a ball and a couple of buttons, and then it's got a cable to plug into your TV, so you can like take it wherever you want. It's like a portable.
This is not worth $200 for sure.
No, it does not seem like it was worth $200. And then the other thing I found was I kept meaning to buy this because it was going on sale a bunch like over the course of last year. Really, for like it seems like the last 2 years. But Harmonix made a card game called Dropmix.
Yeah.
That was pretty expensive, and then just started going on fire sales at places like Amazon. And every time I'd think about it, my finger would hover over buy, and then rationalization would take over, which is, dude, you have an entire cabinet full of games that you buy occasionally that you say you're going to play, and like you don't touch any of them. So like, what would make this one different? I was like, that's right. I'm not going to pay $40 for this. Like, and then at the Goodwill, it was $4, and it's like I can buy anything for $4. I was also worried that it wasn't going to come with all the stuff. Nope. Clearly, someone just bought this on sale at Amazon and then took it to the Goodwill because everything was just wrapped perfectly and pristine. And so, Dropmix is it's a card kind of like party game in which you download an iPhone or an iPad app that goes alongside with it to display a lot of the UI elements for score tracking and things like that. And it comes with a couple decks of cards that are like signified into playlists. Like there's like an axe set of cards that has 15. There's a like a robot one, and so it's split into like sets of 15. And it comes with this rectangle card reader. So each of the cards has something in it that can be detected by.
It's music. It has music in it, Patrick.
No, I know, but like you're setting the card down, and the reader is understanding what card you put down.
Yeah, it has
but I just
music
mean like
inside of the card, and the card reader.
Mean physically. I just mean physically. Like
it's music.
I don't
it has
understand
music
where
inside the soul of music. The heart of the card is music.
Oh God.
Just like Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
So, and you're setting these cards down in order to play various games. Like there's one that's I didn't quite understand the rules of the puzzle one. I was doing it with a friend while we were watching football, and I was like, this is too hard for us right now. I can't quite figure out what we're doing. But the one we ended up getting into was a game where you're trying to get to 21 points. So you each take two playlists. So you take two sets of 15. So you take the 30, you stack them on thing that reads the cards, and then you take them off. And basically, like there's on the rectangle there are 5 spots, and then on the iPad, that's where like a lot of the gamey elements come into play. Like the rectangle is really just being used to read, and then to direct you if there are a unique. Some of the cards have sort of like unique properties, like, hey, take off all of these cards from this area, and it'll tell you, like, flashing, like, okay, take these cards off the deck. And so let's say it's like the way that the deck is arranged is like red, blue, green, yellow, and then sometimes there are hybrids. And so if you have a yellow card and you play it on a yellow slot, then you get 1 point. If the iPad says, actually, blues are in a bonus mode, if you play a blue card, you get 2 points. And then the way it starts stacking is the cards have power levels associated with them. So 1, 2, 3. And so if you play a blue card and it's a level 1, that sets that section at a level 1, which means the other person either needs to put a level 1 or up it to a level 2. And then you could play a level 3 to start, and like if you think your opponent only has level 1 cards, then you can just start locking them out. And then the alternative there is you can hit the Dropmix button. It's a physical button on the device itself, which then brings up like a spin wheel, and that spin wheel has like levels 1, 2, and 3. And then I forget exactly how it works, but basically it's a way of like clearing the deck so that if you only have level 1 cards, you can clear some off so you can start playing those again. And so you go back and forth, and it's really fun. And the whole time the gimmick is that each card has music associated with it, and it has different parts of it. So like it might be a vocal, like there's like a Carly Rae Jepsen vocal card. There's a like bass line from something else. And as you're playing them, you're making a real-time remix of a song. And so sometimes there's like a push and pull between, well, this is the card I should play because it would be like advantageous strategically.
Yeah.
But I just want to see what this song fucking sounds like. And then if you make a mix that you actually think sounds dope as hell or terrible, you can save it and then it like goes into a playlist and you can share it with people. It's really fucking cool.
It works.
It's really neat. It works extremely well. The rules are, they, like anything, seem really complicated at first, and then you do 2 rounds of it, and I could explain it to anyone I can explain it better here now than watching the 5.5-minute video that was explaining it. The video was fine, but it's just the nature of explaining rules is difficult. But if you probably can't find it for $4 at a Goodwill, but like I don't know how much that is on Amazon anymore, but like $40 or something like that. Like it's a neat gimmick. It's just a cool way to interact with a game. And it's also just extremely fun and approachable that I think you could put it in front of people that don't play card games, and pretty quickly you could all, be picking up on what's happening.
Yeah, I will say I've just checked online a number of different places you can get it under $50. You can get it under $40. So
are there card packs? Now I feel like I need to buy the card
So that
packs.
is the thing. So I have a friend of mine is like way into Dropmix, and she has bought a number of card packs. The card packs, even like new, they're like $15 or something like that, but they were like a bunch of card packs.
I bet I can go on eBay and
just get them. Yeah, totally. 100%.
Yeah, it's a really, I see why it failed. Like it's like I can see why it didn't quite catch on, but it's absolutely worth owning because as long as you have there are like web service connections that like to watch some of the tutorial videos, but everything else should work just fine, even if Harmonix is forced to pull or whoever like manufactured this for them. Like as long as you have the hardware and the cards, like and you download, like the app won't disappear from the app store. Like you should be fine to just like use it. Like it's not like a server is going to turn off and it should stop working. But it's a really neat thing, and it's just like as like a party trick. It's like you got people over. You're just like, I'm just going to show you something neat.
Yeah,
like it's the kind of thing where like my daughter, she's 3.5. She's not old enough to like sit down and like be patient with something that's complicated with rules. But she 100% within 2 seconds was like, I put a card down and it makes cool music,
right? And
just sat there stacking.
And there is like a party mode where you can just stack cards
and
and mess around. Yeah, that's cool.
The Clash mode is the one I was describing. That's one of the verse modes. There's the puzzle mode. There's like a casual mode that's just like play cards and just like make music, and then like that's all you're doing. There is no game element. And there's another one that's like a crowd mode or something like that. Basically, you can have up to like 5 people all sitting around it. You each have your sets of cards, and the game throws out like, this is what I'm looking for. Like a blue, it's a blue card. And so if you have a blue card, you can play that, and then you get punished if you put the wrong cards down. It like increases the asks that it's making simultaneously, like the bigger the audience you have. So even though your pool of cards is larger, it's also the pool of mistakes is much larger because you need to be keeping track of like the level of the cards, whether you're clearing those out. It's neat. It is neat as hell. And given how cheap it is now, I really can't recommend it enough.
Totally. Awesome. Cool. I'm glad that someone's talking about Dropmix in 2020. Bring that energy.
I feel like it pops up every once in a while. Like
someone goes like, wow,
come up on Twitter. Someone's like, this thing is cool as hell. Why didn't no one play it?
Yeah.
And then I see like 3 friends go buy it. So I'm the new one. I picked up the baton to tell you the failed Dropmix is actually really neat.
It'd be cool if that thing had a second life in 2020 or in the future. Like, it is an idea that functions. I played it at Judges Week once, and I will say the venue was not great. It was on a rooftop, which is the sort of thing you might see in a Dropmix ad, but it's windy on rooftops, and you're playing a card game, and that did not work always all the time. But I still had a good time playing it. It's such a neat trick. It does just work. Shout outs to Dropmix.
There's a world where I could imagine them reimagining it where everyone's got a device in their pocket. If you got rid of the
cards,
physical element, like
totally.
if you just set up an iPad, or a laptop or whatever, like a big, or even an Apple, just a big screen, and then everyone had cards
like
distributed to their phone.
Jackbox style, yeah.
Yeah, like there's maybe they can't do that the things run its course, but like there's a way you can still do it. I will say like there is something every time you put down a card, like a physical card, and it just gets read. There's a little bit of magic to that, but you could make the game function, rules wise, like perfectly well if you had just like a Jackbox thing where everyone's just connecting to a web server and you're downloading the app. So, but there is something cool about having that fucking set of cards and just setting it down.
And boom, there it goes. And now, and there's, Run DMC performing It's Tricky over the
they
beat
got I cackled for a solid minute. Which just shows the music selection is also really great, which is like no surprise coming from Harmonix. As different as a company as they are these days. But like one of the vocal ones is Disturbed's Down with the Sickness. And so you play it and it's just ooh, waka waka, ooh, waka waka. And like I didn't want to change it. I was like, I want to keep this mix forever. Like I don't want, this is so funny. It's great. Because it's just like that's not a company that didn't like music as much as a company like Harmonix is foundationally based on wouldn't put in something that is essentially a joke card, which is Disturbed's Down with the Sickness. Right, they would just put in all popular stuff. And this there's such an eclectic mix to the music, which is why I want to go buy those other cards.
Right, to see all the combinations.
That's the joy of it. Yeah,
definitely. God, it would be very cool if there was a version of this thing where you were like you were going to tournaments with a deck of your
you can in the game you can make there's a deck building aspect to it if you want to like go down that route. Otherwise the game just makes it, and this is one thing that actually makes it easier for people that are like myself who are like kind of see a deck of cards and get nervous and scared, like I don't know what to do, is that it's again like axe, robot, ice cream cone, like those are playlists. Like here is a set of balanced cards. You don't have to worry about anything. Like this is just good. If you just want to jump into the game and play, and there's even numbers in the corner, 1 through 15. Make sure you've got all 15 cards. The UI is really smart where like it's always telling you how many cards you should have in your hand. You don't have to like ask or have someone that's like, I know how these games work. I'm going to pay attention. If you haven't picked up 2 cards, you just tap the screen. It says you should have 7, you should have 5, you should have 3. It's like just keeps track of all of the shit that can sometimes make that stuff difficult for newcomers.
Yeah, totally. I've done the thing I said I was going to do. Last week, I said I finished up Heavensward, and I needed a palette cleanser. I needed to calibrate the old sensors because my impression from finishing Heavensward, Final Fantasy XIV's first big expansion, was I was like, I'm not really feeling it. I feel like I would rather spend this time doing something else. I feel like I had better times with MMOs in the past. I feel like I've had better times with Final Fantasy games in the past. I know Shadowbringers is the one that people really love, but people really tried to sell me on Heavensward also, and I kind of liked it. So I spent this week dipping my toes back into both Star Wars: The Old Republic, which I think was the last MMO that I put serious time into. I think I'd have to look at a list of MMOs, but is one of dozens of MMOs I put. Like I forgot how much time I put into DCUO. I forgot about how much time I put into Star Trek Online. I forgot about how much time I put into Final Fantasy XI. Like I had this past week looking at lists of MMOs and videos of MMOs and be like, fuck yeah, I played a lot of that game, didn't I? City of Heroes, City of Villains, Champions Online. Like I did my MMO hours. So I went back and I started a new character on the Old Republic. I started an Imperial agent. So the thing about the Old Republic is it's exactly the thing Rob was complaining about in our Waypoints episode, which is whenever they do Star Wars in a different timeline, they're still just like the Empire is there. What if all of the accoutrement of the Empire existed in a different time period, like they're British and human and anti-alien and xenophobic and etc. Rob, go ahead.
Wearing gray uniforms.
Yeah,
but I have a question. Yes. What is the conceit by which there are Imperial officers just rolling around like 5,000-10,000 years before the movies?
I think it's the other way around.
In the world, what is it like? This is what an Imperial, like this is the Empire we're talking about.
I think in the world it's the other way around, which is that the Empire looks the way it does because of the ancient Sith Empire.
Okay.
Right? Like they it's causal that direction. It's that like
Okay, so when they're saying the Empire, they're like, this is the Sith Empire, and the Sith loved posh British dudes.
I think that there's an
in,
attraction
like double-breasted
people like Sheev
coats.
are naturally aligned with that style of aesthetic, that sort of fascist Hugo Boss vibe.
Oh, fair. Okay.
I think that
Yeah, I
that's what's
get it.
happening there. But I don't fucking know. I mean, it's different. Even it falls apart because, of course, in the Old Republic, they reveal that there was literally a race of people, the Sith race, that are like these devil-looking with like beard tentacles. It's a whole thing. It's goofy. It's regardless, there is absolutely an Imperial agent storyline in which you are basically Imperial James Bond, by which I mean James Bond. James Bond is Imperial. James Bond is the James Bond of the Zulus.
Yeah.
The story there is like so good, and it's made me think a lot about what I want in an MMO. And I want to say really quick, this wraparound is going to be really interesting because I think it doesn't go where people suspect. But you know, the Old Republic is such a different game than Final Fantasy XIV in so many ways, obviously, even though both of them, in terms of pure gameplay, are very much just like, oh yeah, we're going to do basically World of Warcraft style combat. And I'm saying that in contrast to something like DC Universe Online or Guild Wars, which have different takes, or Guild Wars 2, which have much different takes on what MMO combat, or Destiny, or Warframe even, right? Mm-hmm. It is still very much like, here's my ability bars, here's what my rotation is. But the big thing that Old Republic does, if people don't know, is that it's structured like a BioWare game, which means that there's constant opportunity for you to identify who your character is by choosing one of 3 dialogue options that rarely mean anything mechanically different or narratively structurally different. It's like, how sassy do you want to be? There are some mechanical changes around, like, hey, your companion liked to hear you talk back to this spy or to this hut overlord, crime lord or whatever. But mostly it's about identifying who your character is, finding a voice for them, trying to figure out like how they would respond, which obviously for me is like a big plus. I like that stuff,
right.
Even though they're, for the same reason I like dialogue options in like Kentucky Route Zero, those dialogue options, which by the way, Kentucky Route Zero final act drops this month. I'm super excited about that.
When is that happening?
Late this month, January 20-something, 26th, I want to say, somewhere in there.
So yeah, something like that.
But I like it in visual novels. I like it in RPGs when I have the opportunity to decide what my character wants to say, even if that doesn't communicate, even if that doesn't change anything about the game necessarily. And the Imperial Agent story is specifically dope. There are points at which being part of the Sith Empire is like goofy, mustache twirling evil shit. But the Imperial Agent specifically feels so cool because of the way in which you are just a normal person interacting with all of these, ridiculous cackling space sorcerers, and you're like, I have a gun and I'm the person who like makes shit work for this empire. And because of it's a BioWare game, because it's this style of BioWare game, you can also very much be like the light side Imperial Agent, which means that you're making choices to minimize
Mara
harm.
Jade.
Right, you're the Mara Jade, exactly. Except instead of a lightsaber, instead of being a Sith Inquisitor, I am just a person who hides behind cover with a sniper rifle and instantly kills, 7 people at once.
The new Intellion.
Yes.
Gigantamax.
Right. That's right. Of course.
No
you turn
one
into the
got
sniper
that.
in the.
Yeah.
I got it. I pay attention.
Yeah,
Pokemon
thank you.
shit. Let's go. I'm not playing the game, but I'll keep up with culture.
Yeah.
It's the job. The story for the Imperial
I'm
Agent.
Pikachu.
You're Pikachu. That's You're
What
Pikachu.
if Rob just
Became
Pikachu, the rest of the...
Yeah, the rest of the podcast.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot. One of my favorite things about the Imperial Agent, which again I put like 20 hours into this game over the last week, is that you are. So a friend of mine had played through the Imperial Agent story when we first started playing that game when it came out, but was playing as a human, I think. And an element that I did not ever see while watching her play was that there's an entire element of like anti-alien racism that is at the core of this story, because like the Imperials of contemporary Star Wars, the Sith Empire also has like at its heart racism, which is like fundamentally human, with certain good alien races like the Chiss or the ancient Sith species, but everybody else is terrible, except for when they can be racist to you in the way where they're like, yes, you come from such and such a species. That means you're good at math. And that means we can put you to work in the math mines. And they're like, that's super shitty. And so I was playing one of the Star Wars alien species, not the what are they, the Miralan, the kind of green folks with like face tattoos. And there's a really great sequence early on where you're working with another alien inside of like there's Rob, you would actually love the Imperial agent shit because there's like a home base. You have someone who's assigned to you named Watcher 2. Like everyone has cool names like Watcher 2 and Cypher 6 and Minder 1 and stuff like that. And one of them is, I want to say one of them is a Moncal, I think. And there's absolutely a moment where like you talk to this guy and he's like, listen, man, like we got to get through this together. We got to work twice as hard for half as much. We're all in the Empire together, but like, it's a little harder for people like you and me, right? And like, yeah, I know, like I'll watch out for you. And that felt very cool. And in general, all that story stuff was really fun, and it reminded me how much I love to author a character. And I know that most MMOs don't offer that, but it felt very good. Then I spent another 20 hours playing Final Fantasy XII, the Final Fantasy I've never played, or I touched it when these remakes first came out, and I played about 8 hours of it then. I put a lot more time into it this time, another 20 hours, like I said. And that is a game where you're not making any authorship. Maybe every now and then there's a dialogue option, but basically these are the characters. And also that game is very Star Warsy. Final Fantasy XII it's in Ivalice, so it's still fantasy, but it's like, if I played you the Empire's theme in Final Fantasy XII, you'd be like, they stole that. That's the Imperial March. That's Darth Vader's about to come out. And then he does, because this is the game that has judges, which are like dope, all armored like dudes with black armor that speak through their masks, and they sound really scary. And there is like, a princess in hiding who has been, who rightfully represents the right government, and she's leading a resistance called the Resistance. And there's, the old sage who is the veteran from the previous war who has to, hide his identity. It's like they're doing Star Wars with this. There's a smuggler who is like charming and only in it for the money. And I guess he kind of has an animal friend, but she's a rabbit lady. Right. She's cool. I like her a lot. Anyway, and that game has, no authorship of character, but instead does the thing that I wish Final Fantasy did more, which is like, I know all about all these characters. Final Fantasy XIV did a lot more, which is just like spending time with characters.
Right.
Like, I know these characters have such a great contrast and like what they're in it for. There's just really great rapport between these characters, and interesting. They pair off the characters in interesting ways, so it's not always just the like, oh, here are the characters who you think should be talking to each other. I fully get, Patrick, why you bounced off of Final Fantasy XII when that game came out. You had last week, I think you called it MMO combat. It's not even MMO combat. It's like an abstraction of MMO combat, because the way that this game works is you program the characters. I don't know if you got that far into it when it first came out.
Yeah. You can do like it's a really deep AI scripting.
Yeah.
So you can watch. You can at some level, right? Like just watch the fights.
That is what I am doing.
If you choose
with
to not.
With the exception of boss fights, you basically are watching the combat happen, because you're like, hey, if anyone gets under 40% health, heal them. Hey, if someone has a weakness to fire, cast Faraga or whatever. And that's cool, and it's really cool with the re-release of this game, the Zodiac Age, because you can fast forward through that shit, put that shit on 4-speed, and that is funny to like clear a dungeon in 12 minutes instead of 45 minutes, and then slow it down for the boss fights. But it does mean like I'm not engaging with the combat outside of programming. And honestly, I'm 20 hours in. I've only just unlocked the first Esper, which is like the summon. I'm doing so well that I don't even know. And I understand that this is part of the re-release. The re-release is apparently very easy in comparison to the original game. But like I feel like I'm barely engaging with this thing's combat system at all, with the exception of a boss. Or I'm like, well, what's this thing weak to? Air? All right, here's air. Wind. Do that wind shit. He put reflect up. I Dispel? Okay, cool. I like the license board stuff. Like, I like the mechanics insofar as I'm engaging with them, but I don't need to engage with them that much. But I really love the setting. It
was fascinating at the time, though, right? Like, you have to remember the context in which, like, this game's combat fell in. Like, this is the MMO comparison is more in the sense of like watching meters fall down and then just like cycling through them, but like, yeah, if you want to script like,
well, also it's open world in a way that, I mean, Final Fantasy games have been open world in the sense that they are
giant maps,
but this is like a third person behind the back camera, no like pre-rendered angles where you're running left to right. I get why there's the MMO comparison when this game came out, because it looks like an MMO in terms of the camera work, in terms of there being zones, in terms of you being able to wander, it's seeing enemies in the wild and being like, oh, that's a level 32, I'm only level 15.
And this game came out the height of WoW.
Yes.
Like I remember, like, so like, I don't know how much Square was even chasing that, but even just the notion of scripting your combat, like, there's a reason so many Final Fantasy fans, including myself, was like, cool, like, I guess not this one, which is maybe unfair to the game, but it was just like you'd been, trained to understand a certain way of playing these games, and Final Fantasy 10, like, each one did its own little spin on it, right? You have Final Fantasy 8 has a very specific thing, the draw system. Final Fantasy 10 has the sphere system and like the real-time swapping between characters, which is actually one of my favorite spins on that concept. And yeah, that just did nothing for me. But I've always heard it had a cool story, which is what
I love the story, man. Like, the story is doing all the stuff that it's doing a type of fantasy that I really like, which is a sort of like fantasy with a slight political spin. Like, we're not talking about Game of Thrones here. We're not talking about there being dozens of factions to follow. But there's a sequence very early on in that game where you were playing in a sort of fantasy Middle Eastern town, even though it's basically filled with white people, called Robinaster, I want to say. And it's occupied. It's an occupied city. The Empire has taken it over. They've won this war. The king has been killed. Again, you as a player, I think at this point, maybe know the princess is in hiding, or you can suspect it, or you'd read a preview of the game and like, oh yeah, there's a princess in hiding. She's like Princess Leia. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, that's her. That's Chappie.
Imagine your character in fiction reading a preview of this location, like the Lonely Planet's Guide to Occupied, whatever the fuck, and it's the princess rumored to be in hiding.
Yeah, you were playing as the main character is this kid named Vaughn, who I think also is probably part of why that game didn't hit when it came out, because Vaughn is Aladdin. Is who Vaughn is. Vaughn is like a street rat in this city who is a thief, but it's kind of like a thief with a golden heart and is just trying to like get by, and like comes up with this plan to make one big score to kind of change his fortune, and he does. But by changing his fortune, he ends up meeting a colorful cast of characters who have a wider view of the world, etc. Also, his friend Pinello is there, and I guess she's like, what if Aladdin but a girl? What if Aladdin could keep a job is actually what Pinello is. Pinello's like, Aladdin, just fucking get a job, my man. So that's their vibe.
It's kind of respectability politics response to Aladdin's plight.
That's kind of how Pinello is, though. Pinello is like,
why are you stealing this bread, street rat?
That's kind of how she is. She's like, I love you, but couldn't you just work at McDonald's? And he's like, no, I got dreams, baby. And I dream about getting out of Robinaster and going to the Sky Pirate Zone. And she's like, all right. And then you go to the Sky Pirate Zone. She's like, all right, this is kind of dope. I feel you. Anyway.
It's like the first act of a Michael Mann movie.
I mean, this game is a Michael Mann movie in the first act, in the sense that it's about a heist that goes wrong, and like it's basically two heist crews meet each other, and like, fuck, and then a princess falls in their lap, and they're like, fuck, what do we do? And
that sounds great.
It's kind of good. I mean, so the point that I'm building to is there's a moment where the Marquis, it's not the Marquis, it's the Marquis. The Marquis. No, the Marquis. The Marquis is one way.
That is a title.
That is a title. The Marquis shows up, and he's there to like give a speech to the people of Robinaster. And watching that cutscene, I'm like, all right, here we go. He's going to be like this mustache twirling villain. And instead, he wins them over. And he's like, my people have done you wrong. but I come here with a whole heart to bring you into the Empire. And everyone's like, you know what? That guy's all right. And like, this game is good. This game is, because he sucks. You know he sucks.
Yeah.
And then the thing that gets revealed is he is part of an empire. The empire that has occupied your home country is in the middle of a succession crisis, basically. There is an emperor who's very old who wants his son Vayne, the Marquis, to take over for him because he sees Vayne as someone with a good heart who is still going to expand the empire and presumably fight whatever the third villain faction is that I haven't been introduced to yet, but I know how JRPGs fucking go. And he's like, he trusts Vayne to be a good leader of the empire. But the Senate, the Imperial Senate, to whom the Emperor is partially, responsible to, wants the Emperor's young son, the little boy, to become the new emperor so that they can puppet him, so that he can be a puppet emperor for the Imperial Senate instead. And I'm like rubbing my hands together like, this is that real shit. My player characters don't even know that shit is happening, that there is like a succession crisis. All they know is get the fuck out of my country, or my country was already destroyed by this empire, or people think I'm responsible for the fact that this empire, or I just want to get rich. I'm a sky pirate. We're sky pirates together. We're going to steal some shit. Princess will help you out, but you got to give me your ring first because that looks like it's expensive. And that is like, that stuff is dope, and I love that stuff. And so all of that was like, man, I feel bad that I'm still playing Final Fantasy XIV. I could be playing these other games that I'm enjoying more too. Let me check back in on Final Fantasy XIV and wrap back around. And when I wrap back around, I ended up having a really good time with the first of the Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward patches.
Yeah.
One is, I think I've come to terms with the fact that this is a game where I'm always going to like the stuff they do after they tell the story more than the stuff they're doing while telling the story. Like, the Heavensward as a game had to be about fighting this war against the dragons. I'm going to spoil a little bit about what Heavensward is about here if you want to jump ahead, but this is an expansion that came out 4 or 5 years ago at this point, I want to say. So again, but just so you know, like, I'm about to talk a little about it. This is a game in which you're in this country called Ishtar. I think it's called Ishtar. Is that right? No, that's not right at all. It's not right at all. It's Ishgard. Ishtar, of course, is an ancient Babylonian deity. Right? Isn't that correct? A Mesopotamian goddess?
Babylon. It's like
somewhere there.
Assyrian.
Yeah, Assyrian might be right. Apologies. So you're in Ishgard, and Ishgard it hates the dragons. I've said that bit before. There's a pope. He hates the dragons. You, of course, learn that the culture of Ishgard is anti-dragon because long ago they used to be friends with the dragons. They were led by a lady who was like tight with the dragons, and they learned if we eat the dragon eyes, we get superpowers. And so the humans were like, we're going to eat those dragon eyes, and then we can do whatever the fuck we want. And so they did that, and that caused a war. They killed a lady dragon and ate her eyes, and that gave them superpowers. And then that lady dragon's brother, Nidhogg, was like, no, absolutely not. I'm going to war with you forever. And so they fought Nidhogg, and I think they stole one of Nidhogg's eyes, maybe both of Nidhogg's eyes, and did it again. And then Nidhogg went and got someone else's eye and got very powerful again. And there's a big war. So you learn like, hey, surprise, humans fucked up.
Yeah.
The reason the dragons want to kill all the humans is because the humans fucked up.
Yeah.
And you end up going through a whole plot of like, hey, you have to go kill Nidhogg, which I didn't want to do, by the way. I think that's a bad decision. I don't think my character would have done that. It's not what Chimera is about. My character's name is Chimera. But you end up doing that, and you also end up finding out that the history of this world is such that Ishgard is this very the class divide is rigorous and well protected. There is the church. The church has an archbishop. The archbishop is the noble in charge. Also, there are 4 noble houses, and everyone else is poor as shit and does not know what ideology is, does not have anything like class consciousness, because the church, the church has kept them locked in belief that like, oh yes, the 4 noble houses are the 4 noble houses because they killed the dragons and saved us from the dragons, because that's how they teach that story, right?
Damn.
In fact, that's not the case.
Yeah.
In fact, not only is it not the case that the 4 noble houses were the heroes of that story, but all the peasants are descended from the other 4 great knights who killed the dragon, and instead of being like, we want to be nobles forever, they were like, I'm done being a knight, I'm going to go be a carpenter.
Yeah.
And so they immediately lost all of their class status in this new country that was born Mistborn around these 4 nobles, which is fascinating, which is like interesting story stuff.
Yeah.
And so whatever, you end up saving the day, you end up stopping the evil pope, you kill the evil pope, and then it's like, all right, we're gonna make peace with the dragons now. And all that happens really quickly, and all of it happens in a way that like my favorite characters in this story ended up getting kind of like a raw deal by the end.
Yeah.
And I didn't really feel like there's a lot of time spent with some of the side characters. I've talked a lot of shit about Alphino, and I think he's portrayed really poorly in this in Heaven's Word, because he's just like, he's in like a downbeat of his story arc, but they still keep him in the center of the camera, if that makes sense. And he's just like, nothing is happening with him, and I just wish they would have put someone else or something was happening with him in the story, with them in the story. All I'm getting to is I leave that expansion kind of down because the delivery of all that stuff I set up felt flat to me. Now that I'm in the expansion content, they're at the point where they're like, all right, now we know this stuff. That doesn't mean we just snap our fingers and we made peace with the dragons overnight. That doesn't mean that like suddenly there is class equality in Ishgard. And instead, like the leader of the leader that I like, who's trying to reform Ishgard, there's an assassination attempt against him. There's a moment where like it's literally some Three Kingdoms shit. Rob, where like the priest class rebels basically and takes a bunch of hostages, and you have to like run in to try to save the hostages, and an archbishop or a bishop of some sort throws a child off the top of a roof. It's wild. It's like and it's been very good. And the other thing about it is,
look, it is not an empire falling into disorder unless a child is going out a window somewhere, preferably onto a spike.
In this case,
then you know it's really popping off.
In this case, an ancient dragon did save the child moments before it struck the ground. Right. But even that is like left open. Is like, well, do we even know how that moment is going to be read by history or by culture? Like, will people see the dragons involved with this and be like, shouldn't have fucking trusted those dragons? Did you hear there was a kid thrown off the roof and a dragon was involved? Like,
stole it.
Stole the kid, you know? That's how that stuff could get told. And I like the fact that they're immediately giving more of that stuff is very cool. And they're opening up some other plot threads that I think are interesting in terms of the mythology of the world and the metaphysics. And also going from Old Republic back to Final Fantasy XIV is like one of those things where you're like, yo, they really did sit down and remake Final Fantasy XIV to be a game that is good to play in terms of physical feeling.
Yeah.
I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV with a controller. Red Mage is super fun to play. I've said this before about the way you bounce back and forth between abilities. I've unlocked new abilities that feel really good. I now do a thing. Before, I used to charge up a meter, jump in, and then do 3 slashes and jump out. I now do a thing where I charge up a meter, jump in, do 2 slashes, jump out, pop a thing that recharges all those abilities, jump back in, do it 3 times and jump out, and then do like a cool AoE thing. It feels great. All that stuff feels so much better than Old Republic stuff. Even though I'm enjoying the moment-to-moment storytelling of Old Republic more because I like to have a connection to my character, and that is just not a thing in Final Fantasy XIV outside of the glamours and the outfits and stuff. Like making your character look cool is a thing you can do in Final Fantasy XIV, but I don't have that impulse because I can't tell a story with that character in the game content. If I will say a friend put me on to the fact that there are, of course, role-playing groups inside of Final Fantasy XIV.
Right.
Someone did link me to straight up an in-game group that runs an onsen, like a bathhouse, and they're secretly run by the Yakuza. There's an in-game group that is RPing a bathhouse run by the Yakuza. There are rules. No sexual services are provided, it says. And also there are rules about being a good Yakuza. There's like a code. There's a Yakuza code.
Yeah.
And that's important. So maybe I'll get into that. Maybe you'll see me join an RP guild and I'll suddenly love Final Fantasy XIV. That's what it would take. I need to know who my character is, and it's not just a big cat man with a cool coat on. But right now, that's what he is.
You could be the baby of a family, for instance.
For instance, you could be a bratty baby.
Austin, quick update.
Yeah.
Your first impulse was right. Ishtar, definitely more friend of the Babylonians.
Okay.
Pretty definitively not so much the Assyrians.
Oh, jump off?
I tend to forget these things. Well, I don't know what the Assyrian position was on Ishtar, but let us just say the Assyrians maybe not the most respectful of Babylonian traditions and institutions. I tend to get these things confused because obviously it's kind of Ancient Empire Battle Royale.
Right. When you're a classicist, you're not you don't go. Oh, you're not an ancient. Is there an ancientist version of the classics?
Look, they're all just people who don't know their Persians yet. That's kind of the arc of that history.
That is how it's taught in all the hallowed halls of academia. Is that how basically?
No. But like, if your intro to this history is Herodotus, right. He has to try to give a very potted history of like, how did the Persian Empire come to be? And basically it's them wrecking house through a lot of like city-states in the Fertile Crescent and then onto Egypt. And so that's how, like, it's all like, let's get to the part where this is a giant political entity that's then going to menace Greece.
Right. Sure. That sounds like a thing Herodotus would write. So yeah, that's my update on these things. I'm really liking the expansion. I've done some fun raids and stuff. I'm gonna definitely finish out the patches before Stormblood. I still may pause there. We'll see. People have said Stormblood. People have said the stuff I'd like in Stormblood is not the story, but is like the mission design, the quest design is apparently a little bit more exciting and more like the thing I like around the game having mechanics and leaning into the fact that it has mechanics.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. The palette cleanse was nice because it let me reevaluate things, see the things I like in these other games, and then still find something else I like in 14. So
I finally met Alphino.
Did you?
Yes.
What'd you think?
He sucks.
Alphino fucking sucks.
I want to punch him in the face.
I want to punch him in his little face. I met an NPC who dunks on Alphino instantly.
Yes.
Who's like his old teacher.
Oh, good.
She is also like the best Lalafell I've met. She's like a Lalafell wizard or whatever, and instantly just owns Alphino constantly. It's great.
Good.
So you met him giving us speeches.
Yeah.
His like, or not his speech, at the speeches.
At the speeches, talking about banners and bullshit.
Yeah, banners and bullshit. Society of banners and bullshit.
I think they even changed the voice actor. I had to look this up because he sounded different from when I played Shadowbringers.
There is, so between Realm Reborn and Heavensward, they changed all the voice. All the voice actors,
okay.
Which is very funny. I just met a bunch of characters again in the last few hours that were not in that were from A Realm Reborn, but were not in most of Heavensward, and it's like, this is not you. That's not what you sound like, buddy. Also, you got a goatee now. This is not a good look for you. So there's been a time jump, which is cool. I like that stuff.
It's very stark difference from the beginning of Shadowbringers, like personality wise as well. So I'm curious if I stick with it long enough. Curious to see when that happens.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about Shadowbringers. I've definitely thought about skipping Stormblood or buying a skip or whatever, but I feel like
Shadowbringers has like a good like
onboarding
chop and then like onboards really well that you could probably just do that, honestly.
I'll think about it. Anyway, I think that's all I got in terms of video games this week. I think that's kind of it. I feel like we're in that lull right now a little bit. Is anything coming out soon that people like? I don't want to do the whole.
Nope. I looked at the release schedule for January and February.
Kingdom Hearts.
Sure.
Kingdom Hearts.
That'll give us a day.
That's it, right?
Yeah. No, there's
January.
just not a lot.
What else is in January even?
Yeah.
I literally looked it up recently. It's there's the Fire Emblem, or not Fire Emblem, the
Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Yeah.
That game's cool. If people have not played Tokyo Mirage Sessions, please do. I can't speak to the quality of that port, but I really love that game, and people should give that a play. And speaking of JRPGs, Patrick, that game has some dope pop music in it, is what I will say.
Yeah, but that game's probably also very long, right?
I think it's shorter than a Persona.
That could also still be 80 hours.
It's shorter than a Final Fantasy XIV.
Fucking everything is.
Yeah.
January, Dragon Ball Z, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Mega Man Zero, ZX Legacy Collections, Moons of Madness, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, Kingdom Hearts 3, Remind, Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath HD, just for Switch, Rugby 20, Walking Dead,
Rugby 20!
Journey to the Savage Planet, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire for consoles, Warcraft 3 Reforged, PC, Through the Darkest of Times, PC, February, Life is Strange 2, Complete Season, Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance Tactics, which looked okay, Zombie Army 4, Dead War, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Yakuza
That's a
5.
game. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is a new fighting game from what's this? What's
Arc
Systems? Arc Systems,
Works?
yeah.
Arc-
That'll be good. Maybe.
Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, Darksiders Genesis for consoles, Dreams.
Dreams.
I guess that's the big one.
Dreams.
Then Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind comes out for Xbox, 2 Point Hospital for consoles, Iron Man VR, and One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows. And then obviously March,
Is that the
March
actual
is Final
subtitle, or is that
Fantasy.
you dragging One Punch Man?
No, that's the.
No, a hero nobody knows. No, people know who the fuck One Punch. Even I know One Punch Man. So
Wow.
that's
Even
Damn.
I know.
and then March is Final Fantasy, Doom Eternal, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening then, and certainly lots of indie games this month and next. But I think of a year that's probably going to have like just big hits and then big gaps. March. There's not much in January and February. So
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what that means. We got a lot of time to talk about other stuff. I don't know.
yeah, well, probably both next month will be both presumably the Xbox and PlayStation events will not be too far behind one another. Would be my guess. So that'll probably both happen next month. I haven't heard much about what Microsoft's going to do, so maybe they'll be quiet till E3. But a lot of Sony stuff next month for sure.
Totally. We'll be paying attention. We'll check in on that stuff.
We
should. Yes.
There's
News.
Probably should have done that at the top. if we were, an
Patrick.
organization. We're excited to announce that we are going to be welcoming now ex-Kotaku writer, now Motherboard / Waypoint writer, reporter, commentator, observer, powerhouse. Shit stirrer.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely a shit stirrer.
In the best possible
in the best
way.
way possible.
Yeah.
Gita Jackson. Waypoint Radio will suddenly become 2 out of 3 of the Match 3 podcast.
The Match 2 podcast.
In here. Starting next week, Gita will be joining to write about internet culture, video games, tech. She's kind of expanding a lot of what she's writing about, but that'll also include video games. That'll also include her appearing here. We'll probably start doing some sort of like rotating cast we're lucky enough to have the people writing about video games expanding here at Waypoint. So yeah, could not be more excited. Like Gita's a close friend, and to watch her blossom into mainstream criticism and knock it out of the fucking park has been a joy. And the fact that she'll be able to contribute to our little corner of the universe is just I couldn't be more excited. It's really a perfect fit.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Gita is someone who definitely comes out of the same cohort of game critics and writers as I did. She's someone whose work I've admired for as long as I've been writing about games. It's so easy to think back to 2013, 2014, 2015. Seeing her start as a writer, I got the chance to edit her when I was at Giant Bomb, and we were doing the Giant Bomb freelance stuff still, and that was really fun. In fact, I think you can go listen. I'm so curious what that podcast is like. But she and I did like a one-on-one podcast back when I was at Giant Bomb after she wrote for us, and I knew right then, like, oh wow, like Gita is a talent who the world hasn't had a chance to interact with yet. You can go read so many of her articles at Kotaku have been so strong. She has such a distinct voice and such great insight to provide. So if you don't know her work already, you should go check it out ahead of her showing up here. But regardless, like, she's going to be great. I'm super excited to work alongside her. So look forward to that. That's some big news. It's one of those things that's been in development for a little while. We've talked about it. See, yeah, we've
for longer than even this current cycle of the raising of Gita Jackson as someone who would make sense here, as Austin knows, is something that you and I have discussed for a long time.
Head count, it turns out, is a complicated thing. Restructures happen. You end up focusing on trying to keep the head count you have as best as you can. It's a lot. So thank you for sticking with us. I know we've talked about wanting to bring in more diverse voices many times, and like that was never That was never just talk. It's always like, all right, as soon as we fucking see the opportunity, we can make a move. We can try to make a move. We can try to. And so thankfully, I'm glad as someone who stepped away from those decisions, am very glad to see that there was follow through on that stuff. So look forward to that. That'll be later this month. Next week, probably we'll bring Gita on for an episode. So look forward to that.
I don't know. Please be patient. She's starting a new job, and the idea that we're just gonna, hey, come in and do the podcast. We'll figure that out. We don't know what the cadence and the balance of all that stuff is going to be, and none of us know that either, right? Like, so she's coming in to cover a lot of topics, and some of that will include video games, but often it won't. So she'll be around, but we still got to figure out how exactly how the puzzle pieces are gonna fit together.
Yep. So look forward to that. I don't think there's anything else to announce. I guess we'll probably end up doing a Waypoints later this week, is my guess, just based on what we got in the hopper.
Video games or lack thereof.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about it. So look forward to that. As always, if you have questions, you can send them into gaming@vice.com, which is an email that I still have access to, but if you sent in anything over the last week, I did not get it because my email was down. I think the only email I've gotten in the last week is, why doesn't Finn have an English accent in Star Wars? Thanks, Andrew. Good question.
Oh, shit.
Wait, what?
Why doesn't Finn have an English accent?
In Star Wars?
Yeah.
The Stormtroopers never have.
I guess the Stormtroopers never have.
That's a good point, too. They've always had a very neutral...
Yeah.
They're always like kind of working classy.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's all Jango Fett.
That's not true. It's not true. That was true.
The clones. They're all
The clone troopers were all Jango Fett, but then they opened the academy on Carida and began... Anyway.
Yeah, we can't go down this road. That's a podcast that doesn't exist, but one day should.
Huh, yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us. As always, thank you to Bowen for letting us use the track Miss You of the EP Pale Machine. Find out more about that at waypoint.zone/BOEN. Kato, where can people find you on the internet?
On Twitter at @A_Kato_appears.
Sorry, I should have said on Twitter.
I guess.
On the internet's broader than that, I guess.
The internet is big.
Where can people find you on the internet more broadly, I guess? They can find you on the Discord server.
Yeah,
they can find you
totally.
on the Waypoint forums.
Yeah,
which you can get to.
I'm there
still
sometimes.
Discourse.zone.
Yeah.
They can find you playing Destiny.
Yeah, for sure.
A_Kato_appears there. No, you're Kato-kun there.
No,
I
I'm
mentioned this.
Kato number... What am I there?
You had to be Kato-kun because it's on the shirt.
Yeah, that was my old... That was my...
The shirt isn't up to date?
BattleNet.
Wait, the shirt doesn't have your real name on it?
It's fucking... Shit changes.
I don't want the shirt anymore.
No, that makes it rarer, right?
No, I want
this is
up to date shit. This is like when the uniforms change. Yeah, his name is his name. This is I want that new shit. I want it fresh.
You have to
I
wait
want
for
never stepped on, never worn.
Next fall will be the next one.
All right, you better earn it.
Fuck. Shit, I gotta play more Destiny.
You gotta play more Destiny. Patrick, where can people find you online?
Find me at Patrick Klubik and go read my big feature I did about Ring Fit Adventure speedrunning and the absurd lengths people are going to stretch their bodies to play an exercise game for nearly 24 hours at a time.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a lot. Rob?
You can find me on Twitter at Rob Zachney.
Good, clean answer. Pika Pika. That's right.
Give us a
fuck it.
Rob,
this will be a waypoint, but by then it'll be too late. If you're in the Boston area, good chance to check out the Museum of Fine Arts Ancient Nubia exhibit, which is closing this weekend, which is why I bring it up.
Sure.
I saw it over the weekend. It's real good. Since we talked about overly reductive classical takes earlier on the podcast, this entire exhibit is very much about like trying to counter a tradition of that where the Nubian civilization is concerned. But also it's just a really, really good exhibit that both lays out the context of the historiography, but also gets the primary sources. Gorgeous stuff. It's a really beautiful exhibit worth checking out.
Rob, can we get a Pika Pika?
Rob, can we get a Pika Pika? Rob?
No.
Rob.
Rob? Just one Pika? What about a Pikachu?
You want one Pika.
Yeah, because we can copy and paste it.
Yeah. You got it. You just got it.
You just got it. I got one.
God damn it.
I got you. I'll have a brief
But
waypoint.
if you need something else for editing purposes, Pikachu.
You just go wild with that. You figure out what you want to do with that. There's a song, maybe.
That's good, yeah.
Is there a Pikachu song? There has to
Probably.
be. We'll figure it out. Speaking of songs, my waypoint for this real quick is the Great Google Library theme, which is also called Ink Long Dry, which is like this dope, like free jazz track that is like dark, and then there's this free. It's awesome. It's from a dungeon. If you don't like that, you should look up the extreme or the hard difficulty version, which is less jazzy but still has like a similar structure.
Wow.
Yeah. Kato, do you want to shout out your art thing while we're in this mode?
I went to see. Well, that's the fucked up thing is I went to see it on the last weekend, so no one can see it. No,
so no one can see it. So people should go to Kato's Twitter and look at the.
Yeah, look at the. I posted basically the entire exhibit for Vicha Stillman's retrospective.
Seemed
that was
dope.
Up at the Matt Breuer. It's I love her work. It's
All right.
great.
And on that note, that's it for us. We'll be back later this week to talk about more things: video games, art, culture, movies, TV, music, whatever we want to. That's what we do here.
Doing movie? What did we say we were doing?
We don't know. We'll figure it out, Kato. All right?
I could have sworn we already had this conversation.
I think we did, but the timing was different than we thought, so.
Knives out. Knives out. Knives out.
Yeah, but you wanted Gita there for that conversation, which I would also like, but she doesn't start this week, so we can't do that this week.
That doesn't help our scheduling issue, so we got to do it.
God damn.
Maybe Knives Out. We'll see. Until then, as always, fuck capitalism. Go home. All right.
Can't.
All right, perfect.
Cool.
We were the number 1 seed.
What?
He's talking about the Ravens.
Oh, yeah. fair.
Kata, you have a generational talent who will be around.
Yeah,
presuming
this
is, like,
happens. You take the L here, and then
And the way he plays, he will definitely remain a generational talent, and that's
Yes.
not going to be disrailed
He
by
will-
just a flukish hit.
God.
I think he has a better chance to be a Russell Wilson. If he was going to be,
Well,
if he was going to be injury prone, if we would have seen it manifested at this point, I think.
well, and he's growing into being a really good
Right.
pocket passer. Like, if
Yes.
they put good receivers around him, he will not have to be doing that all the time, the way Cam sort of felt like he had to.
Yeah, like
And he's
Cam rammed
way
his
better
body
at this
into a
than
brick
Cam.
wall for like 8 years, and
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do that. So.
is it happening? What's happening? Kyle?
Transformative.
This?
It's
Yeah,
transformed.
Yeah, I see that it's not recording anything I'm saying.
It is.
Is it, Kato? 'Cause
I don't know.
There's
Yeah,
no
I'm gonna-
audio.
Well, we'll be right back.
And to be a VP anyway.
Yeah. And honestly,
How does a man rescue a child from a burning building
What?
and not? You're familiar with Cory Booker's like running into a burning building thing, right?
No.
He also rescued a cat from a tree, right?
I believe that.
Yeah. I feel like I've done that.
What?
Rescued a cat from a tree
Did you? When?
a while ago in Baltimore. I mean, I just kind of stood under it and hoped it didn't fall, but
How are we coming back into this podcast, Kato?
like this, I guess.
No. It needs to be people should not know this happened.
Okay. Talking about my Destiny shirt.
Okay, right.
How much did we lose?
Nothing. We didn't lose
We didn't
anything.
actually
It
lose
just
any-
fucked up and made it look like we lost.
All right,
Yeah.
we can just start from the top of the show then.
No, let me just do this. Ready? Okay.
Voila.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, we nailed it.
Voila. Great. And then disco and okay. Cool. What was the number? Is this 289?
9.
289?
We can talk about some of the. There was that news about the Xbox. How so Jason Schreier reported that, shocking. There's going to be exclusive PS5 games, which is counter to Microsoft's their approach that they're not going to have Xbox exclusives to their new platform at launch, which I think is a really fascinating split. So
Yeah.
that can give us.
Well, is that also because they regard Windows as an ecosystem that they own?
No. That is their big exclusives that are going to be for Xbox will run across. They didn't give a timetable, but it sounded like for at least a year or two, nothing will be
exclusive.
Cut off.
Oh, sorry.
Which
the
is
thing that you're saying is that they are not.
the Xbox I own right
cross-gen.
now.
They're cross-gen, right?
Yes, we'll be able to run everything they publish.
When you said exclusive first, I was like, what, are you saying that Microsoft's going to release Microsoft games on the PS5? Did I fucking miss something?
Hey man, you know what?
Down the road, yes,
when they
absolutely.
have xCloud, if like
Yes.
Sony would let it, I bet they'd say, "Fuck it, yeah, you go play
100%
Halo on your
with you.
PS5. We don't give a shit."
Absolutely. That is also what I think would be true. All right, let's do a clap. Let's do a clap.
think
Let's make a clap.
Patrick is loud again.
Is Patrick loud again?
I think so.
Patrick sounds great.
It's Kato. Literally, it is at 80%. Nothing has changed on my end. I just streamed. Like it's not. Nothing has changed. No,
That's
Bring it to 76.
wait. Is that on your in your
everything. I have Discord
software
open.
or
I
your
have
Discord?
the
Make sure
volume
he's not
mixer
high
and
on
Windows
us.
open.
Yeah. No, it's. I don't know.
I know what you're saying. I can hear
Also,
it also.
Kato can always move the sliders in production.
You can
It's
move
great.
them up.
I
You can't move them down.
It's a
20.
weird. It doesn't even matter because it's the look.
only you.
The local was fine last time.
As long as the local's fine,
The local
though, it
was a
doesn't
little
matter.
hot, but not too bad.
Yeah.
But
I can turn it down for you a little bit.
it's just something that
But it's
sounds strange. I don't know what is.
What's happening?
Maybe
Anyway,
it's
let's
just
do a
my
clap.
brain.
Let's just do it. 45.
Kato can have a very
45
little gain.
as a treat.
It's a little bit,
Okay.
very little.
Remember how football was terrible and then became great?
Fuck off!
Great weekend of
Fuck!
football.
What a
Great
wild
weekend of
What
football.
the
weekend of
fuck?
football.
God
Well, I mean, okay, first of all,
fucking damn
Kato,
it.
you are not allowed to
Fuck.
watch a Ravens game ever again.
No,
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
There's a lot of
Christ,
things that went
I
wrong in
didn't
that
even
game, but I
watch
think
the first half.
Well,
I came
maybe-
in and it was bad. It
Maybe that
got
was the problem.
worse
Maybe
though.
you should have committed earlier
No.
supporting your team.
I was like, they got this. This isn't even a big deal. This isn't even the fucking, whatever it's called.
It was a big deal. What do you mean it wasn't a big deal?
It's Ryan
Right.
Tannehill is a big deal.
The Titans
we
beat
were
the
the
Patriots.
number
Dude,
one
how did he
seed.
look
The
that
Titans
good?
beat the
We were the
Patriots.
number
But
one
the
seed.
Titans counted touchdown time out. That means you got to take them serious.
Ah!
also, like, it was very interesting watching Lamar Jackson just go completely on tilt.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Because,
young,
like,
man.
Yeah, but also,
buddy.
but the way he went on tilt was really interesting because I think he correctly judged, like, everything is going wrong in this game for this team. Like, my receivers are dropping more passes than usual. Like, this is not good. The defense seems to be figured out.
One of them bounced
And
off
by
that guy's
the-
chest.
Like, by the second quarter, he was like, I need to win this game myself on every down.
Yes.
And then we were off to the
He got-
fucking races.
He got like 500 yards, right? Total. Like he counted for most of the offense of that team.
He had
yeah.
a record amount. There was a record amount of plays in that game.
But the mistakes
for any
erased
playoff
so much
game.
of that.
Yes, totally.
Like that play where he like his fumble where he's just holding onto the ball way too long and trying to like waiting for
Yeah.
something to
to
develop.
happen.
And
Yeah.
it's like, man, this is not all on you. The defense is either getting figured shit out or it ain't, but you're not going to turn this game around with this one play. It was really interesting seeing the Chiefs. Well, the difference there is the Chiefs were up against Bill O'Brien. Like that's the other big difference.
Also,
in that game.
Patrick put money down on the Chiefs when they were down 21-0, and they realized, look, I mean, Patrick put this money down on the team. We can't let him down. We need to
Wow,
They won specifically for you.
good hustle.
This is how I win.
Wait, what
This
did
is
you
how
get?
I win.
How'd that work out?
I only put $20 down, but I won 60 on top of it. So
Yeah.
Ooh, look
That's-
at you.
and
That's
then
good, man.
And then played against type. I was sitting in the kitchen going, got a hot hand. I played the over on the total score. I won on
Oh,
that
of
too. and I
course
was
you
like,
won on the over. I mean that game was
Oh,
ridiculous.
so, yeah. I was like, well, if I'm betting that the Chiefs are going to win, then they're going to go over 66 points. So I might as well just go for broke. So I did that, and I won like 15 on that. And then, Rob, I did the thing. I did exactly what you think I would do. I was like, fuck him. He's not going to win this tonight. He's not.
Oh
gonna do
no!
it. Yeah.
Did Rogers take all your money?
No, I only bet 20. I was not that. I
Okay.
was like, I was talked rationally with my wife, and I was like, I I'm gonna do it because it is in my bones, but I also know he's gonna take it from me.
Yeah.
So I'm just only going to
It's
do
a
20.
ritual.
And
It's a
so,
ritual.
Yeah.
I love other couples have like responsible family and like financial planning conversations around the kitchen table. Like Patrick's sitting there with his sports book open, being like, "Okay, so what if I just drop a C note on on the Seahawks? I'm already up 40 on the day." And Katie being like, "No, you're
We
not
can make
doing
that 400 real quick. No? Okay. 20
This is how
bucks?
you
Okay.
lose.
Yeah, this is how you lose. Bet against the Packers as a Bears fan.
But-
God.
Bill O'Brien, you're 4th and 1. You're up 24 points. 21. He chose to like add 3 points with a field goal when he was on 4th and 1. And it was like, no, this is time to deliver the dagger.
Yeah, 100%.
And then he's like, no, when I'm on my own 30,
come back from
I'm going to
anything.
fake punt.
That man is unbelievable. That little like throw he threw to Travis Kelce when he was running up to the end zone, like he was chucking. He was looking to his left and threw it to his right, like he was chucking the ball at the ground. He's unbelievable. What a play!
That was one of the most entertaining games of football. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
It was
Saturday
two blowouts. It was 2 blowouts.
Yeah.
One team was being blown out, and then the other team got blown out by the end.
100%. Incredible.
It was 2 games in one.
It was just one because I thought Saturday was kind of like Saturday made me never want to watch football again. Like watching the Lamar Jackson show. Like,
fall
Dude,
apart.
watch Derrick
Fall
Henry
apart.
is worth no way. Derrick Henry is so much. Derrick Henry stiff arming Earl Thomas.
Oh, I know.
Being like, no thanks. Actually, why don't you get the fuck out of my way? Like, Derrick Henry is incredible to watch.
he
He's
is.
the antithesis of all. He's the antithesis of all like defenses are getting smaller and faster to try and keep up with smaller and faster offenses.
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry is like, nah, what if I'm a big boy and I'm just going to push you on the ground?
It's like, God, it's true. It is like a sports ecosystem where like defenses keep evolving to like, no, sorry, even defensive ends need to be able to run down a running back with a 4.5 40. And then Derrick Henry's like, what if I'm fast and just enormous?
And
like,
I could just
what if you just took a fullback and stretched him?
And also he could pass. Like, it's great.
Dude, that pass, I was like, boy, that seems like a weird pass. And
so
in
fun.
replay, I was like, it was just spiraling so tightly. There was so much spin on it that it looked weird to me. I was like, God damn, that was good. That was a good delivery.
It's beautiful. Who are we thinking now? Where are your odds for Super Bowl at this point? Because I throw all mine out. None of mine look real anymore. Everything that I thought happened didn't. So
Fucking Christ.
I will say the Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good, and he had a couple of like Aaron Rodgers-y throws, but they go hot and cold where they're really hot and then they just fall off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
And they ran into a brick house that was the 49ers in the regular season and lost like 40-10.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks have a terrible defense and have almost nothing happening on offense except for Russell Wilson just pulling plays out of his ass. And so, you never count Aaron Rodgers out. Like I've said that too many times, and as a Bears fan, I've witnessed it firsthand for the majority of my football watching life. But I think they probably run into another brick wall and get just pancaked by the 49ers.
I think.
I mean, did you see that bit in the 49ers game? It's Joey Bosa. Is that like one of their? It's one of the Bosa brothers.
Nick
on
Bosa?
the 49ers. Nick Bosa, yeah, where he got the wind knocked out of him and he was on the ground and then just lays there like the Undertaker. He looks like he's actually gotten seriously injured, which would have been a huge blow to their defense. And he waits there for a long time until the crowd starts chanting his name.
No.
And then he gets up like the Go
he
look
does
up
like
this
the
clip.
no sell.
It's
He does
amazing.
like the-
It's a wrestling
incredible.
bit. He's down there. He gets up and then pumps his fists and just walks off the field because he's not only is he not injured, but like he's totally okay. I guess the trainers had said, hey, you need to lay down here for a second. You're fine. We just want to
Right.
examine you. And he just chose to wait an extra beat to turn it into a wrestling moment
That's so
to get up and
funny.
walk off the field. So
That's
I
so
think
good.
I think it's probably 49ers
I think
Chiefs. But I also
yeah.
think the Titans
the Titans would be
are
fun. Titans haven't won a bowl, and that would be really fun to watch.
I can't handle the Vrabel heir to Belichick takes. I can't do it.
You know what?
Like
That's
it needs
fair.
to not happen right now.
Yeah.
It needs, like he'll have his day, but I can't. with this.
God.
Like I need Andy Reid to run his trick plays that he's been dreaming of for weeks. My partner described like when he had his goal line offense out there and like Romo's like I think he's gonna run a trick play. My partner was like, he looks like a cat who's been waiting for a bird to land just a little too closely to it for like hours. And like, it really is like his sort of intentness on the field when he's got something up his sleeve is a lot of fun. But no, I think the Niners are going to beat the Packers. I think the Packers they lost that second half pretty definitively.
Yep.
If that game had been 3 minutes longer, I think they probably lose that game. Pete Carroll taking the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands with 3 minutes left, I think was a weird decision.
I know it's 4th and 11, but yeah, you weren't going to get that. That you were just asking Aaron Rodgers to go and just get 2 big first downs.
Your defense hasn't been that good. That season, that game. I don't know why I trust Russell to get that conversion way more than trust that defense.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway,
all right, let's do a podcast. That's not what this was. This was just talking.
Just put it at the end.
Yeah.